Riveting content. Empowering your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by this Houston Housewives of Finance. For more information on increasing your cash flow, becoming your own money manager, and to schedule your complimentary personal finance strategy, contact the Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463. Houston, looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789. Look, Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, Dr. Ashandra Batiste understands that one of the biggest obstacles is dental fear. The vision at Elite Dental Wellness is to ensure every patient is treated with respect, ultimate care, patience, and love. Call us today to make an appointment at area code 713-789-8680.
Hi, welcome back to Injustice on the Sphere TV. My name is Alicia Ford. I am your host for this evening, and I am joined by my co-host, Miss Kyra Coffey. Miss Coffey, please introduce yourself to the people because you are going to be a regular attendee with me.
Yes,
They need to know your name.
I'm so excited. So I am attorney Kyra Coffey. I'm here. I'm from Chicago. I live in Houston. I love the Houston community. I've been practicing here for about 4 years now, and it's a lot that's going on in our day to day that needs to be discussed, and we need to bring these injustices to light.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I'm excited.
Okay, well, hey, I'm ready. So we're bringing injustices to light. Okay, perfect. So with that said, I guess one of the injustices we need to start talking about today is the fact that and let me see where this happened, because Wichita, Kansas, which is Dorothy was there, but that's all I know. So in Wichita, Kansas, a man was fatally shot by a SWAT team because somebody was swatting.
Yes.
And so what swatting is like these gamers, they come and they basically, I guess they get into like online beef.
Yeah.
I don't, okay, if that isn't bad enough. Right?
Exactly.
And so they're getting into this online beef. And then I guess as a way to like one up each other, they will call police or call authorities and claim a crime is happening that is not actually occurring and have them go to the house.
Exactly.
Well, okay. One, that sounds like too much time.
How do they know their address?
Yeah, I mean, it's so too much time. And so basically that's the premise of swatting, that they are going to just basically make your life hell, right?
Exactly.
And well, this turned someone's life into a non-existent one at that point. That sounds really bad, but like the way I phrased that was awful. But what happened was in this instance of swatting, we have that Andrew Finch was basically a victim of swatting doubly, because a guy named Tyler Barris from California called and said, hey, you know what? This guy is like threatening to kill his mom, his dad, everybody, everybody in the house. Okay, dude, you can't just say he's going to like burn down the house. Like, so the SWAT team gets there. They get into, he was making false reports. And then they get there and they shoot him.
And the thing is, the address that he gave was not even the person that he was in the altercation with in the online game.
So to add insult to injury to stupidity, the guy who swatted this Tyler Barris basically sent the SWAT team to the wrong house. They kind of misread and when you think about it, they probably would misread everything that he's doing, because he's like, why are you here? Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, I'm sure in the midst of him trying to figure it out, them yelling at him to stop, something got lost in translation, more than likely is what happened here. And this poor young soul lost his life because of this. Now, they say they're going to extradite him out of California to Kansas, and he may, you said, be facing...
Yeah, so he has some very serious charges that he's facing, rightfully so, from manslaughter to felony fraud, wire taping or wire fraud and things like that, because he committed the crime over the phone by calling in this false report. And so not only is he facing these criminal charges, but the family and the mother of the victim is also looking to file charges against the Kansas or the Wichita Police Department, and saying that they responded too hastily when approaching the house and approaching the scene, especially with this being a known thing, with swatting being a known thing, and SWAT teams knowing that they may be called to a scene that's fake, and so that they should take more precaution, which is a touchy, scenario, because how do you tell SWAT that, hey, I know that you may think it's a crazy situation, but go in with precaution and don't really fire off the top.
Their job is, first of all, you don't send SWAT out for no reason.
Exactly.
So it's not to say that we're just like, hey, we're going to send out a patrolman and see what's going on. Like, you have a hostage situation. This, as they say now, that escalated quickly,
Very quickly.
And so when you think about it, it's just like SWAT is basically, at this point, something that is used for measures that are severe or very grand. And so at this point, I'm glad that this happened to this guy. Maybe all you other gamers will learn this is not what we do. That's not what you're supposed to do. I'm even a gamer. I know, right? Isn't that crazy? But I don't have time anymore, and now I have a life. But but just seriously, it's just not something you do.
Right.
It's not something that you would worry about, or it's not something. Just stop. Like, I don't.
And I didn't know that this had been going on since the early 2000s, and so I feel like it's only a matter of time that something outlandish was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I hate that someone lost their life behind it, but I agree, if it needed to escalate, for attention to be drawn to it, for us to maybe, like they say, the law needs to catch up with the times and technology.
Yes.
So if this needs to happen, for new legislation to come in place to have proper laws, so that because now we're trying to figure out, how do we prosecute this person? We're trying to make a law fit, or a crime fit him,
into
that normally
that is not, that wasn't contemplated for the purpose of the law.
Exactly.
So unfortunately, and it's going to take like legislature, and we know how slow they work. So, but I'm glad that the first steps are being taken to make sure that he is. This death is not in vain, and that this Tyler Barris person is brought to justice.
Because initially he was like, I don't care. I didn't shoot him. He was very cold and very unremorseful when he found out that his actions caused this person to die. He was like, well, I didn't, it wasn't me, so
I'm good. Nah, you're not.
Exactly.
About that,
Exactly.
They were actually being agents of you. So
exactly.
you actually kind of did shoot him.
You know how to do the but for not having done this.
So
you're
unfortunately, that's how it worked.
Yes.
But either way, we can move to some other nonsensical stuff. Well, no, this one actually is pretty good. So I will say this.
Okay.
That we're going to move on over to Illinois. So I think we're just going to go up into the right.
Okay.
Yes, on the country. So in Illinois, they have decided that they are going to ban the gay panic defense.
Yes.
As of this year, 2018, Illinois became the second state to ban the so-called gay panic defense in cases where a murder defendant tries to justify his violence as a reaction to learning the victim is gay. California was the first one. Yep. Activists of the right point to the 1990 case of Matthew Shepard, a 28-year-old college student who was beaten to death by two men who claimed the victim had made sexual advances to him, and that basically some of the opponents of this gay panic defense said it's rarely used and it's not a reliable defense argument. If it were truly that rarely used, then they wouldn't be making it a law. Let's just be honest. Exactly. It would have been like that Matthew Shepard case was an anomaly.
Right.
We don't actually need to make a ban of this unless it was actually being used.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and when you think about it, when somebody's like, well, what is a gay panic defense? So if I commit a crime per se under the law, then I have a right to assert affirmative defenses under the law. So, for example, Kyra, I'm going to assume that I'm going to assault you.
Oh,
all right? So I assault Kyra and then
I have to defend myself.
And Kyra has to defend. So she assaults me back but kills me. And, and what happens is, and let's just say that whatever you did was proportional and or justifiably a reaction to what my level of force was for the assault against you.
Right.
Her defense or your defense is basically like, hey,
self-defense.
It was a self-defense.
Right.
So self-defense is an affirmative defense, basically saying like, yes, I committed the crime, but for this reason.
Right, exactly.
And so when you think of it, the gay panic defense is kind of like an affirmative defense. It's saying and I shouldn't even say it's a defense, but it's a mitigating factor more so than anything. It's kind of like set a heat of passion.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
It takes your offense level down. It doesn't completely take it away like a self-defense would, because what are we doing here?
Right, exactly.
But it just it basically puts you, as we call it in the law, mens rea, into a different mind or frame of mind where you're not going to be culpable for certain patterns of thought that are associated with certain levels of crime. Yeah. So
that's spot on.
Yeah, and so then what basically happens is like they're bringing down again that thought process, that mens rea to say, which I would equivocate it to sudden heat of passion, because that's exactly what I was thinking. And so it would just be, hey, you know what? This gay person hit on me, and I don't know what to do. Right. Let me tell y'all, gay people have also hit on me. Yet and still, I have never felt the need to sit here and kill or harm anyone.
And it's more so men that have been, that have used this defense or have found themselves in a situation to need to use.
So here's my thing about it, and I'm just gonna holler at you men for a second, because Kyra, you brought up a really interesting thought. Y'all aren't secure in your masculinity? Like, it's just a question. I just kind of want to know, like, why are y'all not secure enough in your masculinity to say, okay, and not even say like, okay, like, yes, I like this, but like, dude, I'm good. Right. And then keep your life moving unless there's some unresolved stuff going on inside of you, sirs. So unless there is something, because I don't see myself getting to that point no, that I'm going to try to harm someone because they made a pass at me that was unwanted only because they're the same sex. Exactly. And so it's not even so, because dudes are gonna be like, yeah, girl, come on over here. The average man.
So I was thinking, if they extend this to situations where it's someone who's transgender, and you meet someone and from the appearance you think it's a woman, and then you go to make a move and you guys are in a sexual kind of moment, and then at that moment you find out that it's really a man, then if you were to assert the defense in that moment out of the sudden heat of passion,
I think that would be more a sudden heat of passion defense. That to me, that would be more of a sudden heat of passion defense. Gotcha. At least in
I agree with
in my thought process, because you're actually engaging in an intimate act with somebody under the belief of something else.
Now let's take a step back, because we did a great job of explaining self-defense. But for those who don't know what sudden heat of passion is, the common example is if you come home and your significant other is in the bed with somebody else and you lose it and you go grab the gun and you shoot somebody or you stab them or you snap and beat somebody up.
Yeah.
In that moment, you weren't really in your right mindset. You were taken off guard. You were suddenly enforced into a situation where you didn't respond as you normally would. So in this situation where you may be in an intimate moment, like you were saying, with someone who's a transgender, but you don't know it, that mindset when you do find out is you suddenly respond to something that you were unaware of and not expecting.
Yeah.
So I get that. So with this gay, the panic defense, gay panic defense. I definitely think that it should not have ever even been created. It should have never even been something that was justifiable.
I mean, because so to me, it would only fall under sort of heat of passion, like in that situation. Because let me just be honest.
Right.
If I think that I'm sitting here talking to a man and I find out it's a woman, I'm mad. I mean, if I'm in an intimate situation, like if on face,
I got you.
Dude, my bad for not knowing better. But like if I'm
in that moment,
and something's that's why they say no sex before. No, I'm just kidding. But so I can see why that may trigger something different, because that's like it's a carnal thing at that point. That's like intuition, fight or flight mode at that point. Right. But just regular you at the bar, do you want a drink? No.
That's a preference thing. I mean, would you be mad if the next thing is if someone Muslim, would approach you and you're like, oh, I don't like you. So
exactly.
Then you have a Muslim defense because
and I'm sure they're trying to get one.
But I'm just saying that's not a justifiable. It should have never been on the table to begin with. So I am glad that some states are, because in that situation you're making the victim kind of blaming them for why they were beat up.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
I'm glad that we are repealing this in some states, and I hope that others, take charge and are empowered to get that legislation behind them.
I'm good. I'm happy with that. And then I can actually be happy again because the Ninth Circuit, we can move over to the Ninth Circuit.
Yes.
And then
jumping over to Cali.
We're jumping over to Cali or the West Coast, and they're saying, hey, I mean, I feel like this man stays losing, but there's a reason why he should. He won on accident, so after that, he should stay losing. They are basically putting a third injunction against. I'm sorry, it upholds an injunction against the third travel ban version. And what they're stating this time is they're like, look, President, you did not make a legally sufficient finding that the entry of specified individuals would be detrimental to the interest of the United States.
Yes.
So basically what they're just saying to him is, look, you did not make with specificity to show that the people that we are banning are posing a true threat to America and its safety and its citizens. So we're not going to let you do this ban again. It's basically all they're doing. They're saying, and this man is not smart. So because what happens is a lot of the times he tries to say, well, that's not what I based it on. Well, unfortunately and fortunately, in his campaigning, he let people know how he felt about these things.
About certain people.
About certain people, certain races, certain nationalities, certain religion.
Right.
As of recently, certain countries. So what people will do is he's going to what President Bush, Lord, it's not Bush, Trump. Look, I can't even remember the man's name. that's sad when you just even wish you were back into like he wasn't that bad.
He was when you have a breakup, you're like,
what? Compared to who I'm talking to now, because he beats me, right? But either way, so what President Trump doesn't realize is that a lot of what he said is going to be used against him now because it shows an intention.
And what we would use in court as kind of evidence to prove something. Like, it's not direct evidence, but it still shows circumstantial
it shows
evidence.
Your intent. Yeah.
Right. So you made these bans primarily against Muslim countries.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Let me look at this
Exactly. Here goes this speech you gave on the campaign trail. And that's what I don't think he's putting together is that a lot of the things are tying together to show that was what he was truly intending when he instituted these things. For example, as of recently, we also know that we should stop immigration from these shithole countries. I mean, this is all linked together, you guys. This is all an intricate pattern of them trying to make a xenophobic America again. They are really trying to make it so that we are scared of everything. We should be afraid of anybody that's non-European and only Europeans should come here, which is really what the immigration policy was for a long time until about the 1950s. It was not like, hey, everybody Africa can come over. No, it was really predominantly Eastern European and Western European countries that were coming to America, which is why you had the Irish, the Italians, and they used to be the people in the ghetto. Because they were actually the ones that were all in the ghettos, and then they assimilated because they weren't even considered white. No, they were less than.
I mean, in Chicago, a lot of the Jews had predominated the
ghetto, so now all of a sudden they let other people in, and they get the whole white status, and now we can subordinate another group. So it's all linked back to this, and unfortunately we have the Ninth Circuit, which is what I should say, saying, you know what, and I keep saying, like, our courts are our last line of defense against this man, because our legislature is not going to do it. They have the House and the Senate and the executive office, but they still can't do anything.
And the thing that trips me out with them is that I don't think it should be a I'm winning, who's winning, or we won this when they won it. It should be we came together with a solution for the people. It shouldn't be, this house won, that house won. It should be, what is the winning solution for our constituents, for the people of America, but they're not concerned about that. So the courts, hopefully, maybe they are.
I'm going to tell you what we need to be concerned about right now. This portion of the show was sponsored by Houston Housewives of Finance. Did you know that only 4 states in the United States offer financial education? 33% or more than 77 million Americans don't pay their bills on time, and 30% of Americans carry credit card debt from month to month, and 39% of adults say they don't have enough savings. Don't become one of these statistics. Let Houston Housewives of Finance advise you on increasing your cash flow and becoming your own money manager by scheduling your complimentary personal financial strategy. Contact Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463 or email them at info@HoustonHousewivesOfFinance, just how it sounds. Ask us how you can participate in a complimentary financial literacy workshop near you. Houston Housewives of Finance are the new faces of the new age of financial services. So yes, the court is the last line of defense, right? It is basically like, and nothing is working for the people anymore, unfortunately. Like, we have gone to a traditionalistic view of politics where it's the elite run it and we deal with it. You only let certain people in. And unfortunately, what we aren't realizing is that we can change this. You just don't. You stop voting these people in.
And stop voting them in and get educated for yourself. Like, without the travel ban, it's still not a free-for-all. We still have regulations in place without the travel ban that you still have to come, and you either have to have close family here or becoming because you have close proximity to a business or something like that. It's not just a, hey, party at my house, everybody's welcome. No, so don't allow a certain administration to fool you into thinking that without these regulations and guidelines, we're green light for everybody.
That we're going to be a shithole country.
No, don't fall for the lies.
Anyway, there's a whole okie doke that he keeps selling y'all, and I really hope you stop, 1, believing it, and then 2, buying it.
Yes.
So either way, thanks, Ninth Circuit. You guys really, really rock on that one. And so now we can just go on over and up to the Supreme Court again, and they are halting the DACA delivery, but then we actually even can put in on top of that, DACA's still up on the chopping block too. We don't even know where that's going.
Yes.
They just passed a continuing resolution to fund the government for until like 3 weeks it was for February 8th. But this DACA delivery, they say they're now trying to make a path to citizenships for the people that are eligible for DACA, but we don't know. We have no idea. So it's kind of like, unfortunately, sometimes when we get to this news, it's changing day to day, you know, and with that, it's just thinking about the fact that, you know, deferred action for child arrivals, if you don't know what that is, that's what DACA means. And DACA is basically for children up to a certain age that were brought to the United States, not by their own will, but because they came over with their illegal or, I shouldn't even say illegal, but undocumented parents. And so with that said, the premise behind DACA is to say these children had no choice to be here. And this is what they've known all of their lives. So in essence, sending them back
isn't to a land that they don't know.
It's really going to be awful.
Right.
So a lot of it has been, and the president said when he first started campaigning, I'm going to basically anything that Obama touched, you know, he was just like, you could be like, you know, let's save all the babies in America. If Obama put it into legislation, all them babies going to die. You know, so I mean, literally that's how he operates. And this is one of those, all of those babies are going to die situation. Like I don't want them here. And then he realized like, that's not how most Americans aren't upset about DACA recipients. Like,
and to try to say that they're taking away our jobs, no. To try to say that they're taking away from government programs, no. They actually contribute financially to government programs through taxes, but they don't get to receive any of those benefits. To say, oh, let's talk about taxes. They don't pay taxes.
Like, yes, what I feel sometimes, like, people make the mistake to believe that there's been a super influx of illegal immigrants in like the last 2 years. Y'all, this is years and years and years and years of immigrants coming over, and years and years and years of immigrants coming over. And now it just seems to be a as our economy grows, more people come. And so when we think about it, I'm of the notion where should we have better immigration? Yes. I'm not against immigration, but I feel like, look, if you're here and you're, you know, trying to at least work and you are actually paying, if you are buying anything, you're paying a tax.
Right, exactly.
It just period, point blank. If you are buying food or clothes or groceries, you're at least paying a state tax. Right. You know, so they're not contributing. And then they can't get a tax refund back because they're not.
Exactly.
Excuse me. So, I mean, when I think about it, I just say, hey, look, you don't have to make them citizens. At least give them a right to work. And at least give them a right. I mean, if you want to say you don't have access to social services, cool. But make sure they're contributing to social services by making sure they're documented so that these employers can take out these withholding taxes and keep them for our government. Why aren't we looking at it like that?
And they have to be exemplary citizens because if they get any type of criminal charges, they're deported back.
So I mean, and who better to say like, look, here's this right to work, right to be here, right to drive a car. You F up, you're gone.
Right.
I mean, we will snatch this back so quick. And not only will we snatch it because we gave it to you, we'll deport you within 5 days.
And so, but that makes it better because at least if someone comes and I'm giving you some type of incentive or benefit to be upfront with me and let me know that you're here versus coming and operating and there's no type of documentation for that person. So it's not like they're not going to try to immigrate here, but you're now turning off the channels and the outlets for them to let you know that, hey, I'm here and I want to contribute to your country versus I'm just here and I'm just, you know, trying to stay under the radar.
You can't send everybody back.
Trump can.
You can't send, but okay. And if you know what, Trump, just try. Can we send you back? Can we send your wife back?
Hey.
I mean, what his real name was Drumpf. Like his real family name was like DURMPHF or something or some
I
crazy.
did not know that.
From wherever they're from, Poland or wherever, one of those European countries nobody wants to go to. So
that's why they came here.
Yeah, I know. Like nobody wanted to be there. So, but either way, this portion of the show is sponsored by The Sphere. Are you starting your business and looking for a place to advertise? Do you need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at The Sphere. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspired dialogue, coupled with your strategic ad, is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at 832-772-7789 or email us at advertise@thesphere.tv. So, get it together, government. Let these poor children, just let them
live. Let them get a chance.
I
like
mean,
you said, this is impacting children.
Yeah, it's not like we're giving a free pass to the adults that came here, illegally.
These are children who are in college.
These
and,
trying to be model citizens.
Exactly,
and now they're sitting here like living in stress. That can't be a good way to go to school.
Nah.
Or even still with their parents. You don't know if your parents are going to get deported. I'm sure that's also not a way to live. But we can move lastly over to Chief Justice Roberts, who evaluates sexual misconducts. And basically he's just saying, hey, look, in the Supreme Court and in our chambers and within our organization, we're going to evaluate the sexual misconduct policies.
Yes.
Me Too.
Yes.
Has been going on. And so Me Too is touching all of you men. Hopefully, I hope you know that your years of patriarchy are slowly coming to an end, right? You keep educating us. Hey. And in all honesty, I think it's more so, and I hope that this has consequence.
Yes.
Because really what this could possibly turn into is a outcry with no consequence,
or just with outcry and just a Band-Aid.
Yeah,
but
no real fix.
Right.
And so, and I think a lot of people don't understand that to be a woman in the workplace all the time is not very easy. My thing about it is they like to say like, well, how did he say it? Did he really mean it that way? And it goes back to, why did you say it? Why did you feel that those words were appropriate to say to another human being of the female persuasion?
Right.
That says, look, if this is not your wife and it's not hello, good morning, you look real nice in that skirt, it's not appropriate.
Exactly. So I'm hoping that with them adjusting and kind of revamping and looking at taking a serious look at their policies, that maybe this will trickle over to some legislation.
Yes.
That they think, okay, if we're dealing with this as the U.S. Supreme Court, clearly we're aware of the law, we're aware of the the repercussions, then how much more lackadaisical are other just regular everyday companies and businesses and things like that? I know you can file with the EEOC, but who really goes through that, and who has the time to know how to even filter through that process?
And even still, and further to the point, it's that you would hope that when these policies change and they come about, that you actually institute some kind of punishment for them. Because you stop victim blaming. Exactly. And I think that's a large portion of what goes on with these types of cases is that even women victim blame, and it's kind of like, well, she shouldn't have, and she and like, and this is what I say: if I don't know you, like, unless I am familiar with you, for example, man or woman, I don't generally touch you. I'm gonna ask to touch you because I don't know you. I don't know if you don't. You might turn around and be like, I don't like to be touched.
Exactly.
And it's just like, whoa.
Exactly.
So and it's more so these actions that the men have been having for so long without work, because it's like a clan mentality.
And
like, this is the normal.
Long, you don't think that it's wrong.
Yeah, this is just what we do. This is just part of what this is just what it is.
Yeah.
For who?
Right.
Because why does what it is have to be that for a woman?
Right.
And okay for a man?
Exactly.
So it's not, you're the one that's not going home and feeling, violated or offended or minimized wherever you are, you're the one doing it. So it doesn't have to be like that. We're the ones that have to sit here and take that's the way it is.
And even taking those things more serious in the workplace. Like I know, I'm sure most of the time when we at work, when people have those sexual harassment and things like that kind of trainings and review with HR, you're like, oh, okay, you don't pay any attention. But I'm hoping that with Me Too and Time's Up, that we now do take those type of trainings and those conversations more seriously to understand, like, hey, you coming and you touching me on my shoulder every day. If I'm not really comfortable with that, then
sir, why are you regardless of where it is, right. Nothing that we're about to talk about at work requires physical contact unless I'm asking you something.
Exactly.
And even then, I'm sure I could just give it to you. I just, and some people are friendly. But I think you can determine that type of person more so than a. Like a exactly. I just I was walking through the cafeteria today. Sir, keep the miles over there. I mean, you can look where you want to, but you can tell. Yeah. So, with that said, if at the top of our justice or legal food chain, they're looking over the policies and they're trying to reevaluate, that means that when they're making decisions about this, hopefully they'll be a little bit more cognizant, hopefully they'll be a little bit more aware and rule in favor and understand that when these cases are brought before the court, a little bit more about what the parameters and what the ramifications are when they have a sexual assault, and it wouldn't even be a sexual assault, it would probably be some kind of policy that is brought before them as to what is allowed, acceptable and not. So with that said, guys, that is our show for the week. We hope to see you all next week, and definitely keep tuning in. Kyra is going to be here weekly, weekly. So you're going to have me and my excitable self as usual. And then you're going to have Kyra here every week, who is now going to be, I'm so excited. We've been missing you. We're back in full effect. We're here to bring you the best legal news on the Sphere TV podcast network. So definitely check us out on Injustice on the Sphere. I'm Alicia Ford, your host, and our new co-host,
Kyra Coffey.
How can they reach you?
You guys can reach me on Instagram at attorney_coffee. That is like the drink, but EY, not EE. You can also find me on Facebook, Attorney Coffee, or Kyra Coffey. Kyra is my first name. So reach out to me. I want to hear from you guys. If there's something going on that you want us to talk about and bring to the show, drop me a message and let me know so we can definitely talk about all the craziness that's going on today.
All right. We will see you guys next week.